Hey dear, what do you think about we watching a movie today? What's on your mind? I don't know, how about Central do Brasil? Come on, a Brazilian movie? So, what is your idea? Ooh, I know, let's watch Avengers. Okay man, let's try it. Look at this scene, it's freaking amazing! What? Is just that? I've watched 2 hours of this movie just for that? What do you mean just that? It was freaking awesome. Come on, it's just that in the movie. It's just a big commercial. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a video of a top 5 Brazilian movies just to show to everybody how Brazilian movies are awesome and nobody watches it. So that was my intro. So hello guys, I'm Christian, and as you probably guess, I'm Brazilian, an English teacher actually. And one of my concepts to teach another language is the immersion on different topics of other countries. And as I do this for work, I like for myself entering the deep waters of other cultures, and discover different things. And when I was doing that, I started to search about Brazil and fun facts about it. And I noticed that nobody really cares about how Latin countries actually are. And for one moment I felt like Gloria from Modern Family. So the purpose of this channel is to show different aspects of Brazilian culture for you to understand how it's really like to be a Brazilian and Latin American actually. Besides saying Brazil equals soccer or Colombia equals cocaine or anything like that. And not just an American guy with a dumb face in middle of Copacabana saying that, oh my god, Brazil is so wonderful, thinking that it's just that. And the perfect way to talk about other culture is by movies. This top 5 are about movies that I think show different regions of Brazil, the popular love from Brazilians, and my own opinion, because Brazil is everything about impartiality. Just to be clear, this top 5 could be any of these movies in the first place. They are all classics, they are all amazing. And I don't know where you can watch them, but I will try to see if it has English subtitles to the movies or streaming services. Another thing is that each movie talks about a deep concept in Brazil. Maybe in the future I could do a special video about each topic, because it has a lot of things to say. And another thing is that Auto da Compadecida is not in this list. Yeah, a lot of Brazilians would complain about it, but it's because it's such a wonderful movie, but it's so hard to translate that I believe that it's impossible to translate without being shitty. In 2007, Brazil was shocked by a movie that was so powerful that even after the movie being pirated and released before the official release, people still go to the movie theaters to watch it. Something special to Brazilian movies. Tropa de Elite talks about the day by day of Capitão Nascimento, a captain of special force specialized to extreme situations, Bob. Sorry, my cat is meowing. Capitão Nascimento wants to retire to find a substitute to his position, and this is where we start the movie. I believe it's the 5th time that I'm writing this script, because I believe it's such a deep movie that it needs to be well written. We notice how it is not just an action movie. We can start talking about how it's very similar to a civil war, the two sides doing mistakes with brutal violence and torture. How the cops, even for special forces, low salary with high risks and traumas. Psychological problems, not just for him, but for his family as well. How the favelas are not just the tourist point that foreigners want. It's a place where people live and can be a war zone sometimes. How the elite classes are so oblivious about the reality of Brazil. How the police are corrupted inside in so many ways that correct people can't change anything or do anything about it. Also shows how hard is the training to enter in Ibope, and how it doesn't accept corrupted cops. Now listen, if you want action scenes, it has a lot of them. but you have to be ready. They are hardcore and really explicit. If you can handle sensitive movies, you'll love to watch Tropa de Elite. This movie has a lot of good scenes, a deep story, and phrases that are crystallized in people's brains. Another thing, in Brazil, the movie is really controversial. It has discussions: is Capitão Nascimento a bad cop or a good cop, a hero or a villain? Is it right or wrong the methods that he used? The movie you can watch on Amazon US. The next one is O Bicho de Sete Cabeças. For me, this is the heaviest movie on the list, not because of physical violence, but a psychological violence so heavy that it didn't look real. Try to remember you when you were a teenager, by force drugged with everybody saying that you're crazy. That was the life of Neto, or El Strigésilo, the person that this story was inspired by. It's crazy, but in Brazil we suffered something called the Brazilian Holocaust, where people mentally disabled or homeless or divorced or depressed or even just rebel like Neto were sent to an asylum where people who doesn't receive food, clothes or respect, being beaten by nurses every day, suffering high voltage shocks in the head, being provided of sunlight and places to do your necessities. You feel enclosure with the patients, you get angry when the doctor lies, you feel the injustice and pity of the poor patients tortured so many times, and it's so crazy to think that this has happened and it was not so long ago, it was like 50 years ago. The amazing cast makes everything so real, especially Rodrigo Santoro makes you feel how sad and disgusting it is to put people in this situation. I just found on iTunes, but you can find the link on Letterboxd on the description. Now the next one, Carandiru, is another based on a real story movie. This movie is about one of the cruelest moments of Brazilian history, where it happened the murder of 111 prisoners during a rebellion. You can see that Brazil never really cared about civil rights. This event reflected on art, music, public administration, health problems, health system, a lot of other areas in Brazil. The story goes through the eyes of the doctor that starts to work there to prevent AIDS inside the prison and treat other diseases as well. In these moments with prisoners, they talk about their lives before and during prison, creating an empathetic relationship between doctor and patient. In these stories you see some funny stories, some deep stories, some complex stories as well about spirituality, God, guilt and redemption. The movie has a big focus on the ecosystem of a prison, showing the power that prisoners have, how politics exists there, rules and laws between prisoners. It's a great movie to watch, breaking that thing of prison movies where everybody kills each other because they want to and the villain is always a bad guy. A movie without or with a lot of protagonists that catches your attention. In this movie we even have a special actor that is Sabotagem, one of the fathers of Brazilian rap. This movie again you can watch on Amazon US, I believe. I'm not sure. Being completely honest about Central do Brasil, I've never watched it before the production of this video. And yeah, it was a big mistake in my life. And yeah, I've watched it and it's really good. Now I present to you the biggest steal that Brazil suffered since Portugal entering our land, Central Station. This movie from 1998 was a masterpiece at the time, giving Fernanda Montenegro a nomination to the Oscars as Best Actress. And it's such a huge reality of Brazil. So to understand this movie, you have to understand the context of the movie and how Brazil was during that time. Back then, 30 million people in Brazil were illiterate, a pretty big number. Consequences of poverty, the state without basic needs, and centralization of cities. With this, São Paulo was and still is the search of many Brazilians searching a better life and better conditions, and send money to their families back home. Dora supports herself by taking dictation from illiterate people in Rio de Janeiro, who want to write letters to their families in other states, but then she's pocketing their money without ever mailing the envelopes. One day, Josué, the 9-year-old son of one of her clients, is left alone when his mother was killed by a bus. Reluctantly taking him in, Dora joins the boy on a road trip to find his long missing father. Yeah, this movie has a lot of different elements that shows the reality of Brazilian Americana. the dream to go to big cities to find jobs, better conditions in a country completely unequal, with harsh conditions in rural places, a country without internet, disconnected with the urban part. I really love this romanticism of different planets in the same country, and the connection between this boy and this woman that really met after such a huge loss during a long road trip. This movie makes you cry, laugh, and suffer together. It's really beautiful. It's everything so beautiful in the movie, and it's such a shame because Fernanda Montenegro, the actress, was indicated. Yeah, I believe it's this. Indicated to the Oscars, but she lost to Gwyneth Paltrow, the craziest woman in Hollywood. So yeah, it was such a shame. The last one, and the most famous one, City of God or Cidade de Deus. This movie is the most famous movie in Brazilian history. You can ask for any Brazilian if you watch the movie. Actually, you can even just say. Qual é, Dadinho? And 99% of chance the person will say. Dadinho é o caralho, meu nome agora é Zé Pequeno, porra. O nome dele é Zé Pequeno, tá entendendo? The palette of colors, the creative direction, the native and real casting, the different sets of camera, the simple and raw script, everything fitting in the right moment. Such a perfect movie, dude. The movie shows the reality of Brazilian slums during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, seeing how the favelas were created, how the state misled them to the horrible places without light or water, the flourishing of gang wars, drug dealing, and mass murderers. These 3 decades that we follow, not in a chronological way, are told by Buscapé's eyes, a boy raised in Cidade de Deus, who has seen everything that has happened since the start. We also follow the story of Zé Pequeno, a boy that was raised by violence and crime, the biggest criminal of the time. This movie is merciless, brutal, intense, thrilling, sincere, and this thing is the best, 100% native. Being selected people from the communities of Rio de Janeiro, you can see that the movie is so real that the critics at the time said the movie was like created to... It's an expression in Brazil, I don't know if you guys had, pra inglês ver. I believe you don't have it, but then people from the community said that the movie was very accurate, so you can see how Brazil is different. So guys, this is the finish of the video. I really like it. Nervous, but thank you so much for watching it. Bye. Just to finish, the music that you listen, I know it doesn't make any sense with the video, but it's my own music, and if you want to listen on Spotify, it's there. The links are on the description.